I was thinking about this merch drop that she just did on 6/6/24, and this bottle and how it could relate to alchemy. And I first originally thought, oh, it kind of looks like a bottle that they keep the Philosopher's Stone or the end product of the whole alchemical process in. So that could be cool. But then as I was looking at them, I realized it actually looks like that somewhat, but all of those have a flat bottom because the idea is it's kind of like a beaker where you can like burn it and you need to have the temperature distribute evenly. So they look more like, they're called like gourds. So they look more like this, like they have that same kind of fluted top, but they have like a flat sort of bottom. And this is more of a amphora style. So all of these, they have more of a flat bottom. This was interesting too with the key and the hourglass. I love looking up random alchemical imagery. I find it so interesting. But the idea is that you want it to, it's like called an alembic or a curcubit, which is a specific sort of mechanism you put on the fire and all of that. So much more like a beaker than a flask. And then I was looking and I thought at different bottles last night to kind of figure out maybe the fact that it wasn't a beaker could hint at it being a false alchemy, since all of the false like football imagery. And then I did a further dive, and then I was looking up different, like, I noticed that from what I could count, looked like it would be a 12-sided bottle. There were 6 sort of facets on this side and presumably on the other side. And then I realized that looks like an antique ink bottle, which would really go with the whole, like, she has this, was a pen, fountain pen, and she has those different ways of, describing her writing, and then also all of the ink imagery in TPD and all that. So maybe it's an antique ink bottle that it could be, referencing the fact that she uses ink to bring about alchemy, or veins of pitch black ink, all of that. Like, she's creating this alchemy. Kesha has a talk that she did called at TED Talks, and she also did a class on it at Big Sur called The Alchemy of Pop Music, and how cathartic it can be to make pop music. So that's one thing, one facet of it. And then I also was looking up, since we've been talking so much about like the Red Era and how things have been hearkening back to that, then I also realized that she had a perfume. She's had 3 perfumes, but this one from the Red Era, which is just called like Taylor, made of Starlight, subtitle, looks a lot like that. And so it has the same facets, and it has the same sort of top. It has these pearls at the top, which is very alchemical, and then it has this like swirly rainbow color, which is also alchemical, but it has a flatter but still conical bottom. So I thought that was interesting. And it's also interesting that she had Wonderstruck, and then this, and then she had Incredible Things, which was, I guess, like a 1989 perfume. And that was more of a 2000s thing, I guess, because she has since not made a peep in the perfume space. But that was probably just like a money-making thing. But this was also, I was trying to see if this I Love You, It's Ruining My Life looked a lot like kind of like Sacred Heart imagery. But this looks like there's like fire coming from a stone, which also seems very alchemical, and it also has like these sort of sun rays as if it's like an eclipse. So that was still digging into the imagery of that, but it kind of looks like this, kind of looks like this Philosopher's Stone that's like on fire and burning down into its like pure essence. So still to come on that, but I thought that was a cool discovery. Maybe it's a perfume bottle, and maybe it's like hearkening back to the Red Era. And she talks about, I was watching like a video of her talking about the behind the scenes ads for the Taylor perfume, and it was blurring as opposed to Wonderstruck, which is this like fantastical also very interesting ad campaign where she walks through a lot of mirrors to different portals. She was saying, oh no, this one's different because this one's really about my real life, and I have all my, real friends in it, and Abigail and etc. is in, the ad with her, and then it's named Taylor, and she said, no, this is really, a mingling of my real life with this sense. And it's something I wear all the time, and blah, blah, blah. So you can see that she's beginning to merge her real self, like stop having any boundaries between herself and her art. It's not like an imagined fantasy, but it's literally her real life. So that could be also a reference to the Red era and how she became more of a hyper brand in that era and started really selling her identity as part of the brand.